Welcome, capable driver. You're here for some fall car care ideas. I have 25 of them for you today. Numbers 1 through 11 are real basic ones that almost everyone can do. Numbers 12 through 25 are for those that are a little more mechanically inclined. Number 1, and it's number 1 for a reason, is to check all your lights. You see, when it gets to wintertime, the days get shorter, so you end up using your lights more often. Check your headlights, both high and low beam. Check the tail lights. Don't forget to check the side marker lights and the blinkers as well. Also, you should check the brake lights. You might need to get a friend to press the brake pedal while you stand in the back of the car to see that all 3 brake lights are working properly. Number 2, clean and vacuum the car upholstery and carpet. It's nice to have a cleaner car. Number 3 goes along with that and is potentially even more important. Clean the dashboard, clean all the controls. You can use one of those wipes that you use for cleaning everything else, you know, the ones that we used a lot during the lockdowns, but it might damage your surfaces in your car. So I really prefer to use one that's specifically made for cleaning car dashboards. Number 4, clean the inside windows of your car. Windows fog in the wintertime because it's cold outside, and one thing that contributes to them fogging more is having dirty windows. So if you clean the inside of your windows, they're less likely to fog in the wintertime. Number 5, wash your car and apply a wax or a coating, or at least a quick detail spray to help prevent some paint damage in the wintertime. I have a video on a good basic car wash technique if you want to do it yourself. Number 6, apply a glass treatment to the outside of the front windshield. This helps beat up the water and reduces the chance that you're going to have ice sticking to the windshield. It still sticks, of course, but not as bad. There are 2 products that I would recommend. Rain-X is very popular and has been doing well in tests recently. They keep updating it to make it better. My preferred one, though, is Aquapel. Now, apparently, there are some counterfeit Aquapels out there, so you can find it on your favorite internet website. But Aquapel, make sure you get the official one, not the counterfeit one. And yeah, don't ask me right at the moment how to tell the difference. Number 7, inspect the windshield wipers to make sure they're working properly. You can clean them with some glass cleaner and a cloth. Just wipe them down along the length of the wiper, and that might fix the problem. Or basically, you can just go through a car wash and do the same thing. But if they're still causing streaks, it's probably time to get new wipers. Number 8, inspect your tires. Look for cracks. Look for tread that is too low. You need at least 4 30-seconds for safety. And in fact, in the wintertime, you want even more because traction in snow and ice and rain, if you get that in the wintertime, is very important. Replace the tires if they look too worn. Number 9, inflate your tires to the proper tire pressure. And once you do that, check it again and inflate them again when it gets cold. Air contracts when it gets cold, so when it gets colder, your tires will lose tire pressure. So check them again during the wintertime when it gets cold. Number 10, locate the snowbrush or scraper that you had from last year. I have more than one. I always keep more than one in my car because I have broken them before, and living in Minnesota, they're pretty essential in the wintertime. If you have one that's broken or it's all chewed up from the previous year, go in and get a new one. I would wait till late October, early November. That's usually when those snow brushes start showing up in the stores. By the way, if it's a snowy winter in your area, get in there by early November because by the end of November or early December, sometimes they're sold out. They do restock, but by the time they restock, the winter's almost finished. Number 11, turn on your heater and see that it's blowing hot air because you don't want to be in the wintertime freezing in the car and realize your heater isn't working and you can't get into the repair shop for a month. So check it now, make sure it's working, and make an appointment before things get really cold. Before we get to part 2 of the video, please hit that subscribe button so that you can enjoy more videos about car maintenance, driving, and commentary on modern cars. Number 12, replace your engine air filter. The engine air filter is actually one of the best ways to tune up your modern car. Modern cars kind of tune themselves as they go. They eventually need new spark plugs, but there's not really much more you can do to tune up a car except replace the engine air filter. Your engine needs a good supply of air to work properly, so replace that if it's time to do it. Your car actually has 2 air filters, so number 13 is to replace your cabin air filter as well. That way you can get some fresh air inside the cabin of the car. Number 14, check the condition of your battery so that you don't get caught with a dead battery when it gets really cold. I have a tester and I can do it myself, but if you don't have a tester, bring it to any shop that sells batteries and almost all of them will do a free battery load test for you and tell you if your battery's in decent condition. Number 15, check your oil and change if necessary. I recommend in a regular gas car to change the oil every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first. If you have a diesel truck or a turbo engine or a turbo diesel, then probably every 3 to 4 months and every 3 to 4,000 miles would be a better choice. Number 16, check your transmission fluid. My car is an older style one and has a transmission fluid dipstick, so I can easily check the transmission fluid. A lot of modern cars, though, you can't easily check the transmission fluid. They don't have a dipstick or anything of the sort to check, so you can't always do this step. Number 17, check the coolant level. If it's low, add the appropriate coolant to your car. Number 18, check the condition of your coolant and change if necessary. You can do it on a time basis, change it every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. You can look in your owner's manual. But they do actually make coolant test strips to test if it's okay. You can also use a hygrometer to test the specific gravity of the coolant, and that can give you an indication that it's time to replace. Number 19, check the brake fluid level. And what goes along with that is number 20, check the condition of the brake fluid. I have a video on that, so you can check that out. Number 21, check your brakes, rotors, and pads, and the brake lines, and see if any of that needs replacing. It's a lot easier to do when it's warm outside than it's really super cold, so check them before the winter. Number 21, check the power steering fluid. Now, my car has power steering fluid. It's an older design, so it has a hydraulic power steering system with power steering fluid. If you have a newer car, you probably don't have that. Most newer cars use an electric motor for assist on the steering, and that does not have any fluid. Number 23, check for leaks in the engine, transmission, and differentials. If you have any oil leaks, you might want to get that addressed before winter comes in and you're left stranded with a broken down car. Sometimes an oil leak isn't too bad. You should check with a mechanic if you don't know what you're doing to see if it's an oil leak that needs to be addressed immediately or an oil leak that can be left for a couple of years. Number 24, check the condition of the CV boots and steering joints to see if they're in decent shape and replace them if needed. Number 25, check your suspension. Check the shocks and struts and springs and see if they're in good shape. For the struts and shocks, if they're leaking, that means they need to be replaced. But sometimes they could be needing replacement even if they're not leaking. A mechanic might be able to tell you if that's the case. I hope you enjoyed the list today. Did I find something on there that you hadn't thought about for a long time? Maybe I missed something. Put that in the comments. Also, put in the comments what kind of videos would you like me to do in the future. I can do videos on many of these things, so which ones would you prefer to see?